Hi everybody, my name is Edwin Vasquez. I am a school counseling candidate currently working on my master's in PPS credential. Today I'm going to be giving a presentation on the school to prison pipeline system. I have here my audience. Please excuse them, they are working on getting ready for a wedding. So for my presentation I want to incorporate pre and post tests. This allows us to gauge the audience's education level on the subject. So I'm going to be asking them a couple questions and they'll be answering them to the best of their knowledge. Can anybody answer the question of how much prison systems had their budget increase recently in California?
10%.
The audience responded by 10%. Can anyone answer how much budget increased for higher education in California for schools that belong to California?
2%.
How much?
2 or none.
2.
0 to 2%.
0 to 2%.
The audience stated 0 to 2%. So, for this presentation, I'm going to introduce a couple characters for you and I'm going to talk about their lives. And then I will give you separate details and administer a post-test to see if this presentation was a success. I want you guys to meet Adrian. Adrian comes from a low socioeconomic status family. He also comes from a single-parent family. Adrian is very misunderstood. He is very angry, quite disruptive, and gets many referrals. Adrian is a perfect example of an at-risk student. Next up, I want you to meet Adrian's teacher. Adrian's teacher has about 5 years of teaching experience. You would assume that would make him a very qualified teacher. However, he works for a Title I school that does not have proper special education training for students who are at risk. This teacher is known for giving the most referrals as opposed to creating interventions and preventing future problems. Next up, we have Adrian's counselor. Adrian's counselor is very well known in the school. However, his counselor doesn't even know Adrian's name. The school counselor has about 500 caseload students and is not able to meet with everybody, which means that Adrian will fall to the cracks and eventually possibly end up in prison. When the counselor is unable to intervene, the next level is the principal. The principal at this school is very well known for working with local law enforcement. Because he is well known for working for local law enforcement, instead of providing intervention at the last level, they are sent to law enforcement, which will perpetuate them entering juvenile hall or in the future, adult prison. All these facts can be stated based on recent studies. As of 2008, 1 out of every 100 adults live behind bars. There has been a 500 increase in inmates behind bars in just Americans. In the juvenile system, we see that there is a poor investment going on up in the people who implement policies. Earlier, we administered a pretest. In order to give you the correct answers, there was a recent study done in California. The prison system had an increased budget of 508% in 1 year, as opposed to higher education, meaning that schools were funded by California only had a 15% increase. This is a poor investment. We are being curative, not preventative. Throughout this program, I hope that I can change the new counseling roles and provide a preventative counseling approach. We are doing a poor investment. We are investing in a prison system, meaning that we do not work on interventions or preventions to stop our youth from ending up in these prison systems. We need to change our investment. We need to invest in schools. We need to train teachers to deal with students like Adrian. We need to train principals to deal with different forms of discipline, not zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is directly affecting Black and brown students because in California, Latinos are 2 times more likely than white Americans to be in prison. In California, African Americans are 6 times more likely to be in prison as opposed to their counterpart, white students. This is very, very troubling times, especially in America, where we have a school to prison pipeline system. We need to implement several interventions and provide several trainings to all staff members, starting from the teachers all the way up to the principals. This way we can prevent future juveniles from entering prisons, as well as changing the investments and creating strong, productive citizens. Now, to end the presentation, I will administer a post-test. To the audience, I will ask several questions. Do you think there is an influx change between how white Americans and people of color are treated in schools?
Yes.
They answered yes. Based on your answer, would you say that is because of the numbers I provided you, meaning that African Americans and Mexicans are more likely to end up in jail? Or is that simply because of your common knowledge?
Both.
Both. So they said both. So throughout this presentation, would you say that you learned specifics as well as different studies about this project?
Yes.
Hopefully this project and this presentation was quite informative. My goal as a future school counselor is to become a preventative counselor. Like I said earlier in the video, we need to create interventions to prevent students from Adrian from entering the prison system. Thank you.
Well,